Yo, what's good? It's your boy Dot from Dot Me Now Coaching and Entertainment for coaching. My links are down below. There is also a Patreon down below that has a lot of exclusive wisdom. I just made a video about the 6 domains and the different levels of dominion which you have inside of every domain. And that video is like a huge blueprint to what I'm talking about inside this video. Don't worry, this video will be extra saucy, but if you want to understand the full levels of dominion which you have with inside of different domains of life, you need to watch that video. Now, without further ado, I would like to ask that you like this video, subscribe if you're new, and if you see the option, maybe you could also hype up this video for your boy. I would really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. So I want to talk about how your spirit is essentially the God of your life, right? I'm going to bring up this chart again. You feel me? Right? Spirit, soul, body. Your spirit is the God of your life. In the Bible, they mention the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Father is God. And inside the Bible, the Father, right, God controls your life. Well, what if I told you that the Father is your spirit, the Holy Spirit is pretty much your soul or the wisdom from your soul, and then the body or the Son is your body? Just look at Egypt, right? In Egypt, you have Asar, Aset, and then Heru, right? Asar is the Father, Aset is the Holy Spirit, and then Heru is the Son. Now, Asar, right? Asar represents two things, right? Asar gets seen as the soul, but it's two parts of the soul, right? The first part is the part of the soul which eventually incarnates with inside of time and space. But then you have the aspect of the soul, which is still connected to the spirit, right? Because the spirit in Egypt is symbolized by Ra. And you find out that Asar is simply just the incarnation of Ra, right? Because Ra is the spirit and Ra split himself off into the soul, Asar. And at some point, Asar becomes one with the spirit again, right? So Asar being the father means that your spirit is the father. Now, the reason why your spirit is literally the God of your life is because your spirit literally makes the timelines for your soul to experience, right? With inside of the 6th density, right? Inside the architectural plane, right? Your spirit splits off, right? Because you have an eternal spirit that can pretty much split off into an architectural spirit inside the 6D. And then inside of the 6D, inside the architectural plane, your eternal spirit as an architectural spirit will form your soul's template. It will literally form the template of your soul. And with inside of that template also includes the timelines which your soul can experience with inside of your life. Now, don't think about it like your spirit already made certain timelines and now you're just living it out. No, this is all happening at once. That's important because as you experience life, you still have your architectural spirit crafting out timelines for you right now. You see, your spirit exists outside of time and space, and part of your soul also exists outside of time and space. Although you are perceiving yourself inside time and space, your soul technically exists outside of time and space. In fact, when your soul first manifests, your soul literally exists inside of a dimensional space that is tied to the realm of your spirit. I explained that way more in depth in the video that I was talking about on my Patreon. Anyway, with that being said, your spirit is what controls what your soul can experience with inside the physical world, you see? Now, with the story of Asar, right, understand that Asar, when Asar incarnated into time and space, he ended up sleeping with Nebuchadnezzar, right? Which ended up getting him killed. He got unalived in GTA, right? This was symbolic of how when your soul becomes one with pure physical awareness, it dies to its true self because Nebuchadnezzar is a symbol of physical awareness and death. You see, truly, Asar's actual wife is Aset, which is spiritual awareness. Now, Aset and Nebathet, they are twins, right? This is symbolic of how your spiritual awareness and your physical awareness can easily be misunderstood. Some people think that they experience divine bliss, but they are really experiencing physical pleasure. Some people think that they experience true unconditional spiritual love, but truly it's actually conditional physical love, right? One is Aset, one is Nebathet, but they get easily mistaken. Now, the soul, when it has discernment, can easily discern between spiritual awareness and physical awareness. It's not bad for the soul to have both awarenesses. That's not the issue. The issue is when the soul completely merges with its pure physical awareness. That is when the soul gets disintegrated and it gets split. You have these different parts of yourself that you have different parts of yourself which are pretty much stuck with inside of different timelines or different sets of beliefs, different ways of expressing themselves. You have one part of yourself that likes to party. You have one part of yourself that is fearful. You have one part of yourself that's confident, but the confidence is actually fake. It's confidence based upon purely physical things and not spiritual confidence. You have all these different parts of yourself which seem like one personality, but you're actually split inside yourself, right? Because you're not yet. Because even if you have a solid personality, if you are only aware of the physical, you're not aware of your spirit. So you are at least two people. You are the personality and you are also the spirit, but you're not aware of the spirit. You're just the personality. So you're still split. I made a video about soul fragments, which talks about this more in depth. But I brought up that topic because at some point, Asar gets resurrected. And with inside his resurrected state, he is reconnected back to the spirit. And it's actually Aset that helps to put him back together and resurrect him. It's Aset, right? Spiritual awareness that reunifies the soul back with the spirit. Now, when this happens, you get back connected to the Father. You get connected back to the God of your life, and life goes way more smoothly. You see, your spirit is always interacting with you inside your life. But some people are not aware of what their spirit's actually doing. This is the difference between people who talk to God and understand God and the people who don't talk to God and don't understand God. People are like, why is God doing this to me? Why is life doing this to me? Really, it's your spirit allowing this to happen. You see? And when you get in tune with your spirit, you understand why your spirit does certain things, right? You see, your soul can either be with inside the realms of the spirit, or it could be with inside the realms of the soul, eventually diving into the body through the personality. Because the 3D is where your character and your self-image gets made, that forms a personality that will express itself inside the physical world. So your soul is the in-between. It's pretty much the in-between person that connects the spirit and the body. It connects the spiritual planes of existence and the physical planes of existence, right? So as a soul, you have the choice to either be connected with your spirit or to be purely connected with the body and pure physical awareness. And when this happens, you're not aware of how your spirit is making your timelines and how your spirit is controlling how your life is going to manifest right in front of your eyes. So when you reconnect with God, when you reconnect with your spirit, you recognize the dominion which you really have to create your reality. But it's not inherently your soul that makes your reality. It's really your spirit. But the soul does have a choice over what timelines it wants to experience. Once again, inside the Patreon video, I explained this way more in depth with the different domains, right? Which you exist on and have dominion over. Most people have no dominion whatsoever because they have no authority. See, your dominion is your control, but you cannot have control if you have no authority. Authority is first built with the awareness of your authority. You have authority, you're just not aware of it. Therefore, you can't use it and express your dominion. When you become aware of the soul again, you can now reconnect the soul back to the spirit. You see, when you're just acting like Asar who mixed with Nebathet, right? You're split all over the place, right? You have no authority. You have no control. You're just kind of going with the winds of creation. Sometimes you're this person with those friends. You're a different person with these friends. Inside these environments, you're this kind of person. Inside the other environment, you're a whole different kind of person. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be able to change how you express yourself. The issue comes when you think that you actually are these different expressions, right? So some people think that they really are the person that they are, but they like me. I'm a different person at work versus a different person with certain kinds of friends. But I understand that I'm actually none of those people. And even though I act in slightly different ways, a lot of things about me do not change. I will still spit this spiritual stuff, whether you are my friend, whether you are a freaking stranger, whether I work with you. I do that. I just know how much I can express. But once again, I don't get caught up with these people. I know that I'm none of those people and that I'm really the awareness that's observing these people, which comes from the eternal spirit that's currently crafting out my timeline. So your spirit is the God of your life, right? The Father in the Bible makes your life. The Father is literally your spirit, and it's the aspect of your soul which is connected with your spirit. The Holy Spirit is important also because the Holy Spirit is the wisdom which comes from your soul, right? If you tap into that wisdom, you naturally get guided back to becoming the Father again, right? You actually get nurtured. That's why the Holy Spirit is actually a feminine energy, right? Instead of saying Father, Holy Spirit, and Son, it's also Father, Mother, Child, you see? And you get nurtured by the wisdom that's already imprinted inside your soul because your spirit crafts out your soul's template. And with inside your template, you have all the keys that you need in order to live your highest timeline. The Holy Spirit is the one that gives you those keys until you grow up and recognize that you can open the door. Once you open the door, you tap into the wisdom for yourself and you recognize that, damn, I actually am the Spirit. I am the Father. I am the one that actually dictates my life. You see? Because you have your life, then you have the greater life, right? Because there is, you could say, greater intelligences that help to control the functions of everybody's life as a unit. But with the side of your individual life, that is completely up to you, specifically as an eternal spirit. The Holy Spirit will guide you back to becoming the Spirit. You tap into your soul, the template, you access the keys, then you finally open the door, you walk through and become one with the Father again, become one with your spirit. You see? I'm going to end this video. Love you. Catch you. Peace. The freak out. You smell me.